Right now at 5, after several days of intense heat, communities from the Bay Area to Southern California are bracing for the chance of heavy rain and even lightning. Our First Alert weather team is tracking the threat. San Jose is turning violet. We're going to take you to a festive trip to the SAP Center, where the Golden State Valkyries are about to play their first home playoff game in franchise history.
It's unbelievable. It's so exciting. And as season ticket holders, we've been there all along the way.
In the Bay Area and beyond today, people gathering to commemorate the signing of the U.S. Constitution.
But we reflect on the importance of the Constitution and the rights and responsibilities of citizenship.
We talked to the former Chief Justice of California Supreme Court about why she feels fundamental rights have never been more at risk. Plus, a new plan to help South Bay business owners like this one after the shocking robbery that rattled his community.
CBS News Bay Area Evening Edition with Ryan Yamamoto.
Well, we begin with First Alert weather and increasing concern over the possibility of lightning storms all across California. Here's a look at why. A tropical system making its way up and down the Pacific coast. Southern California residents holding their breath that the storm does not spark any fires in areas still reeling from the devastating wildfires last winter. Here's a live look outside right now from our Mount Diablo camera. Another very warm day inland here in the Bay Area. This was the scene a little earlier in Lafayette, one of the many spots reaching the 90s today. The incoming storms will lead to a significant cool down, but that's obviously a double-edged sword. First Alert meteorologist Zoe Mintz tracking where we could see lightning over the next few days.
Yeah, there is that slight potential for lightning as this very large storm system that was once Tropical Storm Mario is going to continue to make its way up the west coast of the United States. It's going to bring Los Angeles and Southern California some very rare September rainfall, potentially up to 2 inches of rain for them. As that continues to push north over the Bay Area, we unfortunately are going to lose a lot of the moisture and a lot of the action as it pushes up north. However, there is still a good potential that we'll be seeing some isolated showers and thunderstorms from this system. But if we don't squeeze out enough rain, that's when the dry lightning is going to become a big threat, especially across our North Bay communities, where we are expecting there to be that more widespread activity. Again, we are going to continue to see that heaviest rain across Southern California, pushing up across the state throughout the day Thursday and into Friday. But you notice again, as it heads up north, it definitely dissipates a little bit. A lot of that moisture fizzles out. I'll let you know exactly what that means for our wildfire threat and how much rain, if any, we are going to be seeing over Thursday and Friday coming up in my full forecast. Back to you.
All right, thanks, Zoe. Well, we'll continue to track the storm threat over the next few days for the up-to-minute forecast and a look at live radar. Just head to KPIX.com. Well, it's been a season of historic firsts for the Golden State Valkyries. Now we're just hours until tip-off for the team's first ever home playoff game. Chase Center was already booked tonight as San Francisco gets ready to host the Laver Tennis Tournament. So the team won't play in front of their usual loud and energetic crowd at Valhalla. Instead, the SAP Center in San Jose will host tonight's historic matchup. This is a live look outside the home of the Sharks right now. The Valkyries are hosting a block party ahead of tonight's game. Our Matt Lively is inside SAP Center with more on this do-or-die game. And Matt, a lot of people hoping this season does not end tonight.
Yeah, that's right, Ryan. They're hoping that their first ever home playoff game will not be their final game of their inaugural season. The Valkyries facing elimination against the Minnesota Lynx here tonight. The team got their first look at their temporary home last night during practice. They've traveled 55 miles down south to San Jose, and they're hoping that Valhalla makes the trip with them.
I think we have the home court advantage no matter what. With the support that we have, the energy that we know our fans will bring, we love them, they love us, so you can already see just the excitement that's involved around here, so we're excited to be here.
Our fans travel well, and like I said, Valhalla is a mentality. I saw somebody comment that on a picture, by the way. I can't take credit for that, and I just thought it was awesome. So it's cool, all the shirts here. Yeah. So shout out to whoever placed all these shirts, because I was an intern in college and I had to do that, and it wasn't fun. So thank you to whoever did that.
I'll say this, the court looks amazing. The Valkyries have done a great job making SAP Center home. Every single seat has a violet shirt. And for residents here in the South Bay who maybe didn't get a chance to go up to Chase Center during the regular season, this could be their very first Valkyries game. That's exciting, giving the entire Bay Area a chance to catch the team.
Absolutely. All right, Matt, reporting live from South Bay, Valhalla. Thank you very much. Well, continuing our team coverage is Kelsey Thorne. She's outside of the SAP Center, where fans have already arrived early ahead of tonight's game. So, Kelsey, what's the vibe out there like?
Well, Ryan, you had it. You called it South Bay Valhalla. All of these fans are calling it Valhalla South. They are not worried about the fact that they are not playing the game tonight at Chase Center. SAP is going to be the exact same amount of energy. And to make that happen, the team is hosting this block party before the game. There are already hundreds of fans out here. You can see there's a DJ. They have different photo opportunities. They even have this balloon making area for kids where they are making some Valkyrie swords. So I know there's going to be a lot of swords in the crowd tonight. They also have an opportunity for people to actually write letters to the players, which I think is pretty cool. They can write a letter on the back of these signs and then show them during the game. So this is an opportunity for fans to really show how much they have loved the Valkyries all season long. And so many people have commuted down here from San Francisco. Of course, the home is usually at Chase Center, but because they couldn't play it there, they're here at SAP. And that didn't stop fans from all over the Bay coming down, specifically a lot of San Francisco fans. They rode the Caltrain to get down here earlier, and our own Lauren Toms hopped on to see how that ride was.
All aboard the Valkyries Express. I'm joined by dozens of Valkyries fans who are making the trek south to the SAP Center to cheer them on in their very first home playoff game. But for many, this doesn't really feel like a home game, having to travel just under 50 miles down the peninsula to cheer them on. Even so, the excitement is just as familiar. Aboard this Caltrain, or Valtrain, fans are creating their own moving tailgate, charging towards the playoff game. It's a one-night express dedicated to shuttling fans from San Francisco down the peninsula as the team hosts their first playoff game, not just of franchise history, but in their inaugural season.
It's unbelievable. It's so exciting. And yeah, season ticket holders, we've been there all along the way, and it's been so fun.
Yeah, I'm so proud of the team. It's like so great to see Coach having the success. I really like they're humble and they're quiet and they work hard, so I really respect it.
Yeah, a true team effort.
And despite the sister venue, these fans say they're confident they'll bring the energy needed for that home court advantage.
The Bay rides so hard for its teams. It's a Bay Area.
When we have games at Chase Center, you hear people coming from Sacramento or coming from San Jose, so it feels like it's only fair for those people. They're not going that far tonight.
Yeah, so we're just going to Valhalla South.
Yeah.
Now, as fans step off the train in San Jose, they aren't just arriving at a station, but rather a moment in history for this first-year expansion team. They tell me they wouldn't miss this ride for anything.
And Ryan, I think the fact that people are traveling from so many different places across the Bay and even the Central Valley just shows the community that has been made within the fan base. And, you know, I've gotten the chance following this team all season long to be able to talk to so many of these different fans who have really made a connection with the team. And coming up at 5:30, I'm going to introduce you guys to one woman who had a very unexpected journey during this season, and she made it here for tonight's playoff game. I'll have that for you later. Right.
And Kelsey, like you said, Valhalla is not a place, it is a vibe. Reporting live from Valhalla South outside the SAP Center, thank you very much. Well, the Bay Area is known as a cultural melting pot, and today San Francisco honored its naturalized citizens in legal circles. Today is also considered Constitution Day, commemorating a radical experiment 238 years ago when a new nation invested power in the people through the rule of law. But at a ceremony, judges, lawyers, and legal scholars warned that those principles are in grave danger. John Ramos has that story.
It was on this date in 1787 that the U.S. Constitution was officially ratified, and each year in San Francisco, they gather to celebrate that and discuss the rule of law. But this year, it felt more like a cry for help.
I don't think a lot of us here today, when we graduated law school, gave much thought to Constitution Day. It now has greater meaning because we firmly believe that the Constitution is under attack.
It was a small but distinguished group that gathered in front of the federal courthouse in San Francisco.
we the people of the United States.
Among them, former California Supreme Court Chief Justice Tani Kantil-Sakaui, who urged her colleagues in the legal profession to take an active role in protecting and shaping the founding document.
The Constitution is important, and every one of you is a diplomat and warrior for the message in that Constitution. And we all have a duty to challenge it, because only in challenging it and defending it and arguing over it does it grow. And it always grows to protect more people. And that's our sworn duty as lawyers and judges, is to push the edge of these protections and the rule of law.
But Erwin Chemerinsky is worried. The dean of UC Berkeley's School of Law says he's never seen a time like this.
No democracy lasts forever. We all know countries in the world that were democracies and are no longer. And I believe that at this moment, our democracy is seeing a more serious threat than it's ever faced in all of American history.
The core of the rule of law is that no one, not even a president, is above the law. We've never seen a president so often and so systematically ignore the Constitution and laws. If our democracy is going to survive, it's got to be because the courts are there to enforce the Constitution and laws.
Professor Chemerinsky says at this point, the judicial branch is all that is standing to protect democratic rule, most often in the form of lawsuits challenging Trump administration executive orders.
But I've been very distressed in a number of cases to see the Supreme Court reverse the lower courts, rule in favor of the Trump administration, often without any opinions.
He points to the recent decision to allow ICE agents to engage in racial profiling when rounding up people for deportation. The High Court's ruling came with no explanation whatsoever.
It is really our chance to have the Constitution survive, to enforce the guardrails of democracy. But so far, it's been very discouraging to see what the Supreme Court has done.
Are you viewing the Constitution differently these days?
I am. I graduated law school over 20 years ago. I never imagined that I would be standing in front of a courthouse talking about defending the Constitution. I always took that for granted.
Normally, Constitution Day is spent discussing the law with high-minded platitudes. Not this year. This year, things have gotten real.
And another rally took place today, this one in Santa Rosa. This by members of the Santa Rosa High School. The students walked out of class at noon today, held signs along Mendocino Avenue. Our helicopter saw signs in support of religious freedom, Charlie Kirk, and against redistricting in California. ABC has pulled Jimmy Kimmel's show off the air indefinitely over his comments about the killing of Charlie Kirk. The late-night host accused conservatives of trying to score political points off of Kirk's death and suggested the shooter was a pro-Trump Republican. Earlier in the day, the FCC chairman said he considered revoking ABC's affiliate licenses to force the company to punish Kimmel. Kimmel is the second politically outspoken late-night host to be sidelined in the last few months. In July, Paramount, the parent company of CBS, announced the cancellation of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Paramount said it was because of budget reasons, but the move created a public backlash. It came shortly after Colbert blasted Paramount's decision to settle a CBS lawsuit with President Trump. Up next at 5, the video was shocking. A group of thieves assaulting a South Bay elderly shop owner during a robbery. Now a major announcement aimed at making sure it does not happen again. Plus, we're going to meet a Bay Area woman who escaped the notorious Khmer Rouge in Cambodia. How she hopes to make sure her culture is not left in the past.
To me, culture, language, arts are the glue that keep us together.
And we're counting down the days until San Francisco's big lowrider parade.
You just gotta be calm and you gotta make sure you're hitting it at the right time.
We're going to meet the Bay Area father and daughter team providing the bounce for these rolling works of art. Well, breaking news from Pennsylvania, where a gunman has shot and killed 3 police officers and left 2 more critically injured. Authorities say police shot and killed the gunman. Right now, they believe there is no threat to the community. They say the injured officers are in critical but stable condition. We heard from Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro.
This kind of violence isn't okay. We need to do better as a society. We need to help the people who think that picking up a gun, picking up a weapon is the answer to resolving disputes.
Authorities have not identified the shooter, the officers who were killed, or the circumstances of the shooting. More breaking news: an arrest in a triple homicide in San Jose. Police say 3 people were shot and killed just after midnight yesterday at a home on Chenoweth Avenue. Just a few minutes ago, police announced the arrest of this man, 27-year-old Joseph Vicencio. The motive for the killing is still under investigation. And in Santa Clara County, a plan to give police real-time information to try to solve retail theft by pulling together resources that many businesses already have. Ann Makovic has more on this new program and what sparked this call for help.
Yeah, and what sparked it was that violent, brazen robbery that happened earlier this month. A lot of people might remember it was in the middle of the afternoon, 2 p.m. A car Kim hung jewelry in San Jose, and more than a dozen thieves ran in, one of them slamming the 88-year-old owner to the floor. He ended up staying on the ground while the robbers rifled through his jewelry cases, grabbing anything they could, and then running away. Doctors later confirmed the store owner had a stroke. He is okay now, but soon after, about a dozen community activists gathered outside the store calling for change. And today, city leaders announced their plan to offer grants connecting small business security cameras to the city's real-time investigation center.
When a business participates in the program, our department members can see a crime as it happens using camera feeds that they authorize, and then we relay that information to responding officers. This is a game changer.
200 businesses are expected to take part in the program. The DA is also giving $50,000 for businesses without cameras to install concrete planters. The goal there is to make it harder for thieves to drive into their storefronts. Ryan.
All right, thanks, Ann. Well, Outer Sunset residents in San Francisco will soon have a new representative on the Board of Supervisors. District 4 Supervisor Joel Engardio has now conceded in the recall election against him. Nearly 65% of the 16,000 votes counted so far supported the recall. It comes as Outer Sunset residents were upset at Engardio for his support of Proposition K, which ultimately transformed a stretch of the Great Highway into a coastside park. Mayor Lurie will appoint his replacement.
And look at all the cloud coverage that has arrived all across the Bay Area. This cloud coverage is actually coming in the outer bands of that tropical system Mario. So it's the upper level cloud coverage that we're seeing this evening. And honestly, it's likely going to be a beautiful sunset tonight because of all of those upper level clouds. We should be able to see some beautiful colors in the sky and hopefully cool down these temperatures a little bit because it's been hot out there. Those highs today are inland communities, upper 90s across the area. That's way too hot out there to be comfortable spending the day outdoors. By the time that we step out tomorrow, though, those highs are going to be about 10 to 15 degrees cooler than today. Today, down into Santa Clara Valley and across our North Bay, we are in the upper 80s to low 90s. Downtown San Francisco, 73 degrees right now and low 60s along our coastal communities, as there is a bit of an onshore wind that has begun to pick up ahead of this approaching storm system. That is going to bring us a cool down. So yes, even though we are a degree or two warmer for most of the Bay Area compared to yesterday, this relatively warm weather isn't going to stick around for much longer than this afternoon. Again, we are going to continue to see thicker and thicker cloud coverage overnight tonight and into tomorrow. And by tomorrow afternoon, you'll probably be wondering where the sun is because we aren't going to be seeing all too much of it Thursday and into Friday. And that's going to keep our high temperatures significantly cooler tomorrow compared to today. Remember the past few days when we saw those deep pink colors building in the Santa Clara Valley? Those represented the 90s and triple digits. Today, yeah, it's orangey, it's yellowy, but those definitely signify those much more comfortable temperatures filling in mid to lower 60s tomorrow across our inland East Bay communities, low 80s to upper 70s across our North and South Bay, and then upper 60s directly along the coast. So a big cool down is on the way as that storm system, again, is currently getting closer and closer, and it will begin to impact us again as soon as tomorrow. We're already beginning to see the initial impacts just from, again, that upper level cloud coverage, but it's still really nice out there today. It's tomorrow that we'll be seeing those temperatures a degree or two below average for this time of year compared to about 5 to 15 degrees above average, like what we've been feeling for the past several days. What you're also going to be noticing is even though our temperatures will be cooling down, our mugginess, or the amount of humidity in the air, is really going to increase as we step out over the next 12 hours or so. We'll be seeing our dew points rising into the 50s, and normally that's where we start to feel a little bit of that uncomfortableness, that sweatiness. And by the time that we step out early Friday morning, that is likely when the peak of the moisture will be building early Friday morning. So even if you don't rain, you are going to be seeing some very muggy conditions, because look at all of that storm activity that is currently taking place just off the coast of Southern California. It's going to be bringing them a lot of rain overnight tonight and into early tomorrow. LA, if you're planning on going there, it's going to be a soggy early morning commute. But what we are more concerned about is the fact that we're seeing some dry lightning popping up, especially south of the Bay Area near Monterey and San Luis Obispo. That is what we're going to be concerned about. Dry lightning potentially sparking an isolated wildfire as we step out tomorrow and into Friday. Again today, though, and into early tomorrow, all we'll be seeing is the cloud coverage. The rain likely not going to be arriving until the afternoon and evening, and then that heavy round of moisture moving overnight Thursday and into very early Friday morning. Most of that activity will have wrapped up by the later morning hours on Friday before clearing out Friday afternoon and evening, when a lot drier and then a lot warmer weather will be arriving by the weekend of weather ahead of us. So there's a bit of a roller coaster on the way over the next several days. Cooler, cloudier, wetter weather Thursday and Friday, warming right back up with more sunshine Saturday and Sunday. Perfect timing for any weekend plans. And then more potential for wet weather arrives by Tuesday of next week. So there is a lot of active weather in our forecast, but again, it is perfect timing because the weekend, for any plans that you may have, you should be good to go and stay in the clear when it comes to that rain. Back to you, Ryan.
All right, thanks, Zoe. Well, still ahead at 5, the financial world with all eyes on the Federal Reserve today. Well, a long-awaited rate cut could mean for your wallet.
She survived the Khmer Rouge genocide by staying silent. Now an American citizen, she's become a voice for Cambodian Americans.
Well, more than 40 years ago, some 150,000 refugees came to the U.S. to flee the oppressive Khmer Rouge regime in Cambodia. One woman who resettled here in the East Bay was inspired to serve newcomers who come to America start over. Sharon Chin introduces us to this week's CBS News Bay Area Icon Award winner.
Yes, Sambo Lee says, I survived the Khmer Rouge. There is nothing I cannot do. And what she chose to do is to make her life count for others. Sambo Lee's backyard is a stage where American-born children learn Cambodian dancing.
To me, culture, language, arts are the glue that keep us together.
With every graceful step, 11-year-old Morgan Vong keeps the beauty of her culture alive.
It brings me happiness, of the thought that I'm preserving my culture.
Sambo's dance and language classes are saving what was lost, precious traditions that the Khmer Rouge wiped out during the Cambodian genocide decades before. Sambo lived through those terrifying times as a teenager forced into hard labor.
I witnessed a lot of traumas along the way, burned buildings, dead bodies around the roads.
She lost 12 out of 17 relatives, including her aunt.
One night, they pick her up, and she's gone. And I can't even cry, because if I dare to cry or express my feeling, I might be taken away.
Sambo details in her book how she stayed alive by staying silent. But when she came to the U.S. as a refugee in 1981, she vowed to become a voice for newcomers.
I used that trauma as a strength to help my community.
She's been an interpreter and translator for nearly 40 years. For the last 2 decades, she's managed and trained them at the Alameda Health System, the county's safety net provider. She's chaired the annual Khmer New Year event in Oakland for 15 years. And she founded the nonprofit Cambodian Family and Children's Services in 2016 out of her home. She teaches traditional dance every weekend to students like Juliana Paisan.
She's teaching the culture to the next generation of children.
Sambo also extends a helping hand to many families in citizenship applications, family petitions, housing, and senior citizen services. Alyssa Chanthy says Sambo was like a grandmother to students, a respected teacher to their parents.
Me and my family look up to her. We think that she's a really big inspiration to everyone, especially to the Cambodian community.
And a role model to Jake Vong, a student who now teaches what he's learned.
She does a lot of community service. I see it, and then that basically inspires me to want to do more for my community.
For Sambo, each day of life is a gift.
Every day that I wake up, I am thankful that I have life and I can contribute back to my community. I am very happy.
So for her service to the Cambodian American community and other newcomers, this week's CBS News Bay Area Icon Award goes to Sambo Lee.
Sambo also founded the nonprofit Cambodian Community Development Inc. In the 1990s, and she served for years helping provide services ranging from language classes to housing help.
And sharing that dance is so graceful and beautiful, but you're also telling me that Sambo, she's very, very dedicated.
So dedicated, she has not called in sick for 20 years, and that includes COVID.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. All right, thanks, Sharon. Well, you can nominate a community hero for a CBS News Bay Area Icon Award at kpix.com/icon. Up next at 5, we're going to meet a Golden State Valkyries fan who's faced her own uphill journey, how she watched the team fight their way into the playoffs.
It's far less about me than it is about this community that has developed and really cares about each other.
Why she says the Valkyries have provided her with much needed inspiration during a very difficult time. And the former CDC director firing back at Robert F. Kennedy Jr. amid major concerns over vaccine recommendations. We're going to hear from her. Plus, in a world of how low you can go, you're going to meet the father and daughter team looking to reach new heights. Right now at 5:30, the Golden State Valkyries are trying to keep their postseason run alive. They're taking on the Minnesota Lynx tonight at the SAP Center in San Jose. And of course, diehard fans across the Bay Area are cheering on their team. That includes one fan who, despite a recent health scare, has been rooting on the team since the very beginning. Our Kelsey Thor joins us live outside of SAP Center with more on this fan's incredible journey. Hey, Kelsey.
Hey, Ryan. Yeah, there's one thing that I've really noticed throughout this first Valkyries season, and it's the community that has, kind of been built within the fandom for this team. We're about an hour and a half from this very first home playoff game here at SAP Center, and you can see the line. This is the line just to get into the arena tonight. So if you were worried about fans traveling or not traveling, they are here. They are already here, and this is an hour and a half before the game. But as you said, I was able to meet with a very specific fan. Her name is Chris Rockwell. She is a season ticket holder. She went into this very excited for the Valkyries. She's been to pretty much every single home game this season. But then in August, something very worrisome happened to her. She was diagnosed with a condition. And since then, she has been battling back just so she could come to tonight's game.
When Chris Rockwell heard the Valkyries were coming to the Bay, she immediately put down a deposit to become a season ticket holder.
Super excited, super amped to go to the first game.
The only hitch, the team's colors. Valkyries violet wasn't really her thing.
I was like, I will never wear that. So my first thing, I was like, I bought a black sweatshirt at Valkyries.
But when Chris and her partner walked into Valhalla for that first game, everything changed.
The people, the energy, everything. It was like, oh, purple's fine. Lilac, yep, sign me up, I'll wear it.
The season was going great. Chris had made tons of new friends at the games, and the team was actually doing really well. But then in August, Chris started experiencing some strange symptoms.
I always had this neck pain, and I'm like, something's going on with my neck. It's probably a pinched nerve. So then I start losing the sensation in my forefinger and my thumb, and I'm like, oh, this is getting a little weird.
So Chris made a doctor's appointment, and it was there she got the news.
You have a tumor pressing so hard against your spine that the possibility is you can lose more function.
The only option, emergency surgery. So the doctor booked it for 1 week later. And it just so happened that during that week, Chris had tickets to go to a meet and greet with Valkyries players Kayla Thornton and Monique Billings.
At the end of the event, the gentleman comes out and he's like, the gals are really tired. They were both injured at that point. So they were beat and they were tired, and it had already been, I want to say, about an hour and a half, 2-hour event. And I'm like, wow, I don't know if I'm going to be alive when they reschedule this event. And it's not like me. And I looked at my partner and I was like, should I just ask him if I can just get a photo?
That ask was granted. Chris was escorted back to meet both players. And it was there she shared a moment with Monique Billings she says she'll never forget.
And she grabbed my hand and she said this prayer out loud. The store is completely silent at that point. And I think it's the first time it hit me. I just started crying.
Chris got not only her photo taken with both players that night, but also got them to sign her 2 jerseys. The surgery went on as scheduled that next week, and it was a success. The recovery, though, difficult, but Chris had a goal: to get healthy enough to be able to go to the next Valkyries home game, slated for just 15 days after her surgery.
From the time I got home after surgery was, I got to get off these painkillers. I feel very vulnerable. I want to be there. Just cognitively, I want to be there. I want to watch this game.
With her neck brace on and a cane to help her walk, Chris and her partner made it to that game.
It was so well worth it.
Her road to recovery remains long, but with the help of the Valkyries and the community it's brought into her life, this unexpected journey is one Chris feels more than capable of conquering.
I mean, it's far less about me than it is about this community that has developed and really cares about each other. It's just, that's the part that's blown me away.
And you know, Ryan, it's still pretty difficult for Chris to get to these games. She's still dealing with a lot of recovery. It's going to take her a long time until she's back fully healed, but she is here tonight. She said she would not miss it for any reason. So she made the trip down. She is staying at a hotel in San Jose so she doesn't have to drive all the way back up to the city afterwards. But here's a fun fact before I toss it back to you. She told me that this season has meant so much to her and her journey, her health journey specifically, that she's planning on getting a Valkyries tattoo when the season ends. So just super fun to meet her. And, it'll be cool to see her here tonight.
Yeah, of course she's at the game, and that win, and a win will just kind of help her heal also, right?
That we're all hoping for it, yes.
Right.
The fans are going in right now, so they're ready.
All right, Kelsey Thor reporting live from SAP Center, and we're going to have live pre- and post-game coverage of tonight's Game 2 against the Minnesota Lynx. It all starts at 6:30 on our sister station, KPIX Plus. Well, the Federal Reserve announces the first rate cut in 9 months, still ahead of 5. What this could mean for your credit card and car loans. Plus, the Miners providing an update on the status of injured quarterback Brock Purdy ahead of the division matchup against Arizona.
The Bay Area Events Calendar, brought to you by Broadway San Jose.
Here's what's happening in the Bay Area this weekend. The Portola Music Festival takes over Pier 80 for 2 days, featuring the biggest names in electronic music. And San Francisco's Mission District will be the site for the first televised Lowrider Parade, airing on KPIX Plus in honor of National Hispanic Heritage Month. Broadway San Jose's flexible mini package is now on sale. Choose any 4 or more shows from 12 upcoming titles, all for as low as $48 per ticket. Create your own season package now at BroadwaySanJose.com. The events calendar.
Well, the Federal Reserve announcing they will lower interest rates by 0.25%. The first cut since last December. The reduction means it will be less expensive to borrow money, lowering rates for credit cards and car loans. It comes as the U.S. grapples with a stagnant labor market and creeping inflation. Federal Chair Jerome Powell says the central bank is also watching how tariffs may drive up prices. He also says more rate cuts could be coming in 2025. The former head of the CDC, Susan Menarez, says she was fired because she refused to follow Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s demands to pre-approve vaccine recommendations. Now she's raising a red flag over potential changes to the nation's vaccine policy and how it might impact kids.
Based on what I observed during my tenure, there is a real risk that recommendations could be made restricting access to vaccines for children and others in need without rigorous scientific review.
Earlier this month, Health and Human Secretary RFK Jr. claimed Menarez was fired because he believed she was not trustworthy.
All right, straight ahead in sports, we have warmed you up with a Valkyries playoff atmosphere from Valhalla South. We've also got afternoon Giants business and who will be under center this Sunday? The 49ers home opener. There are developments from Santa Clara.
We're going to continue to see big weather changes over the next several days as it's been hot out there to kick off the week. But this large storm system that was once Tropical Storm Mario, this is going to continue to spread north over California over the next several days. And it's going to bring quite a lot of moisture with it. In fact, we are not used to this kind of moisture this time of year. In September, it's normally our wildfire season. Normally it's very dry, very hot. So some very rare September moisture brought to us by this tropical system that's also going to be bringing us not only cloud coverage, but also quite a lot of rain from Southern California over the Sierra and then potentially heading up towards the Bay Area as we step out late Thursday and into Friday. How much rain we actually squeezed out is still a little bit uncertain at this point, but what we do know is it's going to be a lot wetter over the next several days. I mean, just look at it right now. Look at how close that storm system is becoming to Southern California. It looks like it's just beginning to cross over the border from Mexico and Los Angeles, likely going to be late tonight and into early tomorrow. Some wetting rainfall, maybe up to 2 inches of rain across Southern California. And as that system pushes up north, it's definitely going to lose a lot of energy. It's going to lose a lot of moisture with it as it moves over the Bay Area. And what we are concerned about is a little bit of dry lightning that has actually been popping up all morning and afternoon long. From south of Monterey all the way down to San Luis Obispo, this is where there isn't a whole lot of moisture, but there is a lot of energy creating some thunderstorm activity. And we'll keep a very close eye on this over the next several hours. Right now, though, all we're seeing in the Bay Area is just that upper level cloud coverage moving across. And we're going to continue to see that upper level cloud coverage streaming overhead throughout the night and into early tomorrow morning. By tomorrow afternoon, this is when we are expecting the first little finger of moisture to arrive. It will be in the late afternoon and early evening hours, moving from south to north overnight Thursday and into early Friday morning. This is when the widest swath of moisture will likely be moving overhead. The heaviest of the moisture will be off to our east, so likely it's going to be our inland East Bay communities that will be seeing the potential for some heavier rounds of downpours and, again, maybe an isolated thunderstorm. That system will quickly push off to our north by the later morning hours on Friday. And then by Friday afternoon and evening, that will be out of our hair. We'll be seeing clearing skies and a much warmer weather pattern will be arriving into the upcoming weekend. So overall, yes, there are a lot of changes on the way, but today was the last day of the heat as that upper level cloud coverage has officially arrived, and those temperatures are only going to cool down from here as tomorrow afternoon you're going to be wondering where the sunshine is. So I hope you enjoyed a lot of that sunshine as we stepped out over the past several days, because sunny skies not going to be the name of the game tomorrow and into Friday. It's going to be cloudier. It's going to be cooler with those high temperatures dropping by about 10 to 15 degrees tomorrow. We're in the upper 80s today. We'll likely be in the mid to lower 80s tomorrow. Down into the Santa Clara Valley, mid to lower 80s as well, upper 70s to low 80s across our North Bay communities, and upper 60s directly along the coast. Again, this is a big cool down that will be heading our way. That is going to feel like such a nice change of pace compared to all of the heat that, again, we have been feeling for the past several days. Inland communities, low 80s with the chance for a few of those showers, again, late Thursday and into Friday, drying out late Friday and into Saturday as those temperatures begin to warm up. We'll likely be back to above average by the later parts of the weekend and into early next week. But look at Tuesday of next week. We are already tracking the potential for another storm system to bring us even more moisture, additional rain chances Tuesday of next week. So that is great news that we have 2 chances of moisture over the upcoming week. When this is normally the driest part of our year, we will take whatever we can get. And luckily, the system does seem to be trending wetter and wetter. So dry lightning potential definitely is lowering as the system progresses. Jules, heading on over to you.
All right, Zoe, thank you. Well, coming up at 6 o'clock, we're going to hear from the family of a San Francisco police recruit who died during training, why they say the department's answers just do not add up. Plus, no room for junk food in Contra Costa County.
We'll meet a food market manager who's actually embracing a proposed ban on unhealthy snacks in the checkout aisle. Plus, we're live from Valhalla with some Valkyries fans who say they're just overjoyed the team is making its playoff debut in San Jose. The news at 6 coming up in about 10 minutes, but let's get to Valhalla and Vern for sports.
KPIX Sports is powered by Kia. Learn more at kia.com. Kia, movement that inspires.
WNBA up top, and it's almost on with the show from Valhalla South. The Golden State Valkyries are going to soon run on the court in a must-win game, hosting the Minnesota Lynx in San Jose. Two prominent words from the head coach.
Let's go. Let's go. Okay.
Let's go from the WNBA Coach of the Year, Natalie Nakase. She received 53 of 72 votes in her first ever season as a head coach. She led Golden State to not just a league record 23 wins by an expansion team. She directed the Valks to become the first team to reach the playoffs in their inaugural season. NFL and the 49ers, game plan install day. Who's the quarterback? Number 10? Well, what piqued some interest today? Number 13 was on the field. Matt Lively was in Santa Clara.
Brock Purdy was back on the practice field with the 49ers on Wednesday, and Kyle Shanahan said that there's a chance he could play in the home opener against the Cardinals this Sunday.
Mainly just how he's feeling and how he thinks he can go, what he thinks he can do today, what's he think he could do tomorrow, Friday, and Sunday.
There's no uncertainty about the quarterback on defense. Fred Warner's performance against the New Orleans Saints in Week 2 earned him NFC Defensive Player of the Week honors for the 4th time in his career.
I feel like you can almost get that every week. But Fred's having a hell of a year so far. I can't think of a year he hasn't, though.
The guy's a freak, man. He's special. Every single week, we know if 5-4 is on our team and he's leading that defense, we have a chance.
All right, Giants baseball, get happy. Come on. Getaway game at the Diamondbacks. Here's Justin Verlander showing how you get out of a jam in the 4th. A punchy. Verlander pitched 7 shutout innings. Game was scoreless into the 9th. D-backs had the bases loaded and 1 out, but Ryan Walker got a strikeout and this ground out to get out of trouble. The game went to the 11th inning. And then Gerard Encarnacion singled in the first run of the game. Yeah, this is 11th inning. San Francisco erupted for 5 runs in the inning, won the game 5-1, and snapped a 4-game losing streak. The Giants visit the Dodgers for 4 games starting tomorrow. So much going on in baseball. We're going to have to sort out where the Giants stand postseason-wise on The Late Show.
But they're still alive.
Still alive.
Still alive. All right, thanks, Vern. When we come back, meet the father and daughter team putting more bounce into the lowrider culture. Oh, the countdown is on for the Lowrider Parade in San Francisco. We've been bringing you stories about lowrider culture leading up to the big event. And while the parade will feature vehicles traveling low and slow, there's another side of the culture that's all about how high you can bounce. I had a chance to visit a hop shop in Hayward where a father and daughter are taking the lowrider game to new heights.
Something I grew into in lifestyle.
For nearly a quarter century,
Since I was about 13 years old.
36-year-old Daniel Jimenez has been fully planted in the Bay Area's lowrider culture.
Mr. Chad Oliver's 78 Cadillac DeVille, single pump, 12 batteries, does about 80 inches, give or take, on the bumper, 350 motor, tunnel ram, nice, good little car, could drive on the street, just something fun to play with.
Where his specialty has nothing to do with getting low. Instead, it's all about height, up to 70 to 80 inches off the ground. Where his expertise lies in the hydraulics that makes a car bounce.
Different tonnage, which is the thickness of the coils, batteries, pumps, pump heads, which are what go inside and push the oil out to the rest of the car, hose size. Everything plays a difference when it comes to the cars, and sometimes they take a little fine tuning.
You seem to talk to the car.
Yeah, you got to. You got to see what the car wants.
Daniel learned the art from his father And today he is passing down that knowledge.
Next one, that's for both backs to go up. The next switch over is the back right.
To his 10-year-old daughter, Natalie.
She has a good time. It's time for us, me and her, to bond together. I don't have any sons, so closest thing to it I'm gonna get.
But it's more than just mechanics.
Wait, hold on. We got a little kid on the switch. Oh, man, we got a girl on the switch.
That's Natalie on the controls at a car show in San Jose last year.
A little early. Good. Perfect.
We're back home in Hayward. Practice on the switch makes perfect.
You just gotta be calm and you gotta make sure you're hitting it at the right time. So this line makes it, when you hit it this way, it makes the car go up, and you have to hold it down for it to actually go down.
For Daniel, it's a proud papa moment, especially as his business grows to not only include hopping, but full restorations of lowriders and other vehicles.
You know, with my daughter stepping into it, it's gonna make me stick around a little longer.
A family business he hopes can reach new heights. And we'll be bringing you the Lowrider Parade live this Saturday, September 20th. You can catch all of it starting at 1 p.m. on KPIX Plus and streaming on the CBS News app.